Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific North. Fresh from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
The Super Bowl bound Seahawks, baby!
Oh, I thought we were going to be opening up this episode talking about the 2027 international signings by the Mariners, but
Sure, dude.
guess not.
Super
Guess
Bowl
not.
bound.
No, if you're listening to this podcast and you didn't know about the upcoming matchup between the Seahawks and the Rams to go to the Super Bowl, you must have been living under a rock. And I don't. Congratulations for finding this podcast that's based about Seattle sports. Congratulations, welcome to the show. Um, but this was something that when the playoffs started, you kind of envisioned this was a crash course to go to the Super Bowl, and very well could be, I would argue to say, uh, it's right there, I think, with the Bills and the Broncos game from the week prior. But one of the best games of the playoff schedule. And I think probably, as most pundits would say as well, the two most deserving teams to make it to the Super Bowl. So it was a battle, and we're going to break it all down. But before we do, I want to tell you a little bit about us. If you're looking for a guy that this week stayed calm, cool, collected, 2 weeks from now, don't know if I'm going to be able to say the same thing. Nice level heads. Talk to a buddy of mine, might be peppering in some fast facts with your boy, Coach Red. That's right. That's me. You can find me on X at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red, TikTok at the real Coach Red. Also find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and leave a comment or two. And before we get into my co-host, first fast fact from Coach Red: Sam Darnold is undefeated in NFC Championship games
Let's see it. Let me see that.
for both the 49ers and the Seahawks. Boom, fast fact. And if you're looking for a guy that after the game, I in my head dubbed him the Screaming Demon
That's
because
right.
the only thing I heard were yells and screams undiscernible to
Yep.
the human ear. If you're looking for someone that's gonna get hyped, it's Kane.
Yep. I'm Kane. You can find me over on Twitter at Kane2406, TikTok Kane0624. Also follow the show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. False. Do it. Freaking do it.
There is a ton of individual plays to break down. There is a ton of storylines throughout the course of this that we will break down, but we're going to start off in our regular format. We're not going to be previewing the Super Bowl this week. We'll hold that off until next week to give this game everything that it deserves and more. So we're going to go with our regular format. We're going to break down scoring plays, some statistics, our offense, defensive player of the games, and just really talk about what this game meant as a whole. So Seahawks prevail 31-27. Break it down by quarter. First quarter, Rams scored 3, Seahawks 10. Second quarter, Rams scored 10, Seahawks 7. Both go 14 in the third and both with 0 in the fourth for your grand total of 27-31. How'd it happen? Let's hop into it. First quarter, the Seahawks kick off scoring with a 2-yard touchdown run by Kenneth Walker the third. That is followed by a Mevis 44-yard field goal, which is then followed by a 27-yard field goal by Jason Myers. In the second quarter, scorings opened up with Mevis with a 50-yard field goal. Rams take the lead on a Kyren Williams 9-yard touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford. Seahawks regain the lead for good at right before halftime. JSN gets a 14-yard touchdown pass from Sam Darnold. Third quarter, first scoring is by Jake Bobo, 17-yard
Jake
pass
Bobo.
from Sam Darnold. Devontae Adams just short yard merchant, touchdown merchant, 2 yard touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford. Cooper Kupp tacks on another score for the Seahawks, 13-yard pass from Sam Darnold. Puka Nakua finishes the scoring with a 34-yard touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford. I'm surprised that neither team scored in the fourth. Obviously, we're going to get into the point where the Rams went for it on fourth down and Seahawks were driving and we're really trying to burn the clock. And if they were really trying to move the ball a little bit further, probably could have tacked on a field goal there at the end. But I don't think that you kick a field goal in that scenario, anyways. You're always going to punt it, takes a little bit of extra time off. And you
Block
don't
punts
want
are
to
a
go
thing.
home on a blocked field goal.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I'm good.
they were either going to punt at the end of that or they were going to run the clock out completely.
Right.
But let's hop over into the stats because there are some things. Obviously, the Seahawks giving up 27 points is not what we're accustomed to seeing, but it is holding the Rams underneath their season average. And to
Yeah.
really lock it down in the fourth quarter, like they were able to do, bend but not break, especially in that fourth quarter, was big. But there are a lot of things in these stats that we're going to talk about are, and some of them are things that we've been pining for or people that we've highlighted. So it's going to be good. Sam Darnold start off with the passing 25 of 36 for 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he took 3 sacks on the day.
Right. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? It's him silencing the haters. He came out and delivered in arguably the biggest game of the year so far, right? Played as clean of a game that he's played all year. Yeah, he took some sacks, but ain't no thing. The Cam Kitchens one, he went untouched,
I
but
mean, there were a couple of times where I've seen it in some recent weeks when he gets out on the perimeter and it's just like Sam throw the ball away, Sam throw the ball away, and he takes the sack for 9, 10 yards. And it's like just throw it away.
yeah,
And
he
he was
threw
able to do
he
that quite a few times this
he
game.
was able to do that a couple times. Also, some of those bootleg plays, man, the way that he extended the play a little bit and dotted some guys up. I was really impressed with how composed he was all game.
Well, and two of the sacks were off of bootlegs where you left. Obviously, Kitchen comes through right off the edge when they're
Yep,
blocking the other way. The other one, they left the defensive end unblocked. So two of those, the Rams just beat the scheme, right?
yep,
There was
yep.
really only one where he was in the pocket getting pressured that he took a sack
Uh,
on.
Sam started off real early, and I loved seeing the deep ball come back. Right, you saw it with Rashid Shaheed on the 3rd and 5 on the opening drive. Um, Ball was at. I mean, it could have been a little better, little bit more out in front, but what an absolute rip from Sam Darnold. He came out and said he was going to let it rip.
Hit a
Dotted.
handful of times. We'll get into it more. We can get into the receiving though on
Mhm.
some things that we've been asking for and showed up. But we'll hop over to the rushing attack real quick. Start off with Kenneth Walker. He had 19 carries on the day for 62 yards and 1 touchdown. I'm including almost all the rushers in this that recorded
Yep.
at least a rushing yard. Sam Darnold had 3 carries for 9 yards, would have been double digits, except for the last play where they did a read option and he gets
Yeah.
taken down in the backfield. And then
Don't know why he just didn't give it to K9.
I think you're looking for the RPO. And if there's something easy there, if not, you're just going to try and scramble around a little bit and
That's
burn a little
fair.
bit more clock. But Rams defense is all over it. George Halani, welcome back. 3 carries for 4 yards. And Kenneth Walker was an absolute demon
Dog.
on the first drive. And one thing that we have not typically seen from Kenneth Walker that we saw in the first drive after half, he gets up to the line, and I swear to God, I was watching Le'Veon Bell. He just sat there and he waited right behind the line. There wasn't a hole, saw a little crease, got 5 yards. It was like, I've been waiting for Kenneth Walker to do that for so long. But
Oh,
I think in the first quarter, he had 12 total touches. And I think that
yes.
he's used to more of a timeshare. And you saw George Solani get in there, but George Solani wasn't taking a lot of the carries off of his back. So he was taking a beating a little bit and he came out super juiced. I anticipate that with a little bit of extra time to heal the body, you're going to see a heavy dose of Kenneth Walker in the next game. I think that with George Holani back, you're going to see a little bit more integration of George Holani,
Yep.
and that's going to keep Kenneth Walker rejuvenated because he went ham the week before, probably was in there a little bit later than we wanted him to be, like I said. And I think
Yes.
you saw the fruits of that in the second half of this game.
Can we talk about when Kenneth Walker absolutely snatched that linebacker's soul
Which time?
on the parting of the seas in the middle of the line where he's one on one and just absolutely takes his ankles and gets 8 yards on it.
I mean,
Super halfback draw. Like,
his plant and juke were pretty amazing, and that was on full display on his touchdown run where there was nothing. It's third down, and he
he
sticks the guy
muscled
to the
that.
inside and just absolutely shows you the home run type of ability where he just beats a guy to the pylon and scores. Zach Charbonnet is not making that play. I'll tell you who else isn't making that play. Blake Corum or Kyron Williams. Neither of them are making that play either. There was one
Mm.
running back on the field that could make that play, and his name was Kenneth Walker the third.
And to your credit, right, you did say that he did kind of cool down, but they also took him out for a good chunk of the game because of the 12 in the first quarter, right? Like you saw a little bit more George Holani, and he did impress me coming back. Yeah, 4 yards, but he did a little bit more in the receiving game and blocking and all of that, which was good to see. It also took a little bit of load off from K9, which you kind of needed after Sharp went down last week and K9 continued to dominate.
Well, and I think that when you really look at this too, especially after that heavy touch first quarter, and especially with Halani not really getting any carries, you
Mm-hmm.
knew that it was play action for most of the time, or you were getting him involved in the blocking or the screen game, right? Anytime that K9 came on the field, it was like, all right, we're gearing up to shut down K9 because 19 carries to 3. That's a pretty big discrepancy
Yep.
between the two. And you could tell that they were pinning their ears back trying to go get K9
Oh, I
before
mean,
before he could get going.
hats off to Kubiak this week too, man.
He schemed a hell of a game.
What a fantastic uh day of play calling. Like puts it on all display, man. Offense was clicking all day.
Top over to the receivers. And
Oh boy. This
every
was fun.
person that I am naming did reach double digits. And this is the biggest group that we've seen in a while. We're talking about 7 pass catchers
I think
in this game.
since
And
the
that's what
Commanders
we've
game.
been asking for is a little bit more disbursement of the ball. Are there a few guys we wish would get more involved? Of course. we
AJ
say that
Parker.
every week. But let's start from the top and work our way down. JSN paces the team with 10 catches for 153 yards, 1 touchdown. Rashid Shaheed, 1 catch for 51 yards. Kenneth Walker, 4 catches for 49. Cooper Kupp, 4 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown. George Halani, 3 catches for 27 yards. Jake Bobo, 1 catch for 17 yards and a touchdown. And AJ Barner, 2 catches for 13 yards.
This is what we asked for, and this is what we got. I mean, everybody was flying around. I mean, Jason, what a game. My gosh, did he make everything look so effortless? And again, the one-handed smoothness, the way that that dude, like, his grip strength's unreal.
Yeah, JSN is an absolute stud. You got Rashid Shaheed involved early with a deep bomb,
Yep.
and I think he only got one more target the rest of the game. I would love to see
Yep.
him get a little bit more unleashed when we get into the playoffs. Kenneth Walker and George
Super Bowl,
Alani,
I mean.
yep, George Alani and Kenneth Walker both performed phenomenally in the screen game and just as in the outlet guy game.
Yeah, and the only knock I have on George Lottie was that it was the one bad drop.
It wasn't a drop. That ball, he barely turns around and he's going to the middle of the field, and the ball's
Yeah,
hitting
it's
him in the
tough.
back shoulder.
It's tough. Like,
That's Sam Darnold's got a guy in the face. He's getting rid of it quicker
no,
than he
yeah,
wants
yeah.
to,
It was
and
tough.
and Sam
But other
Darnold
than that,
where the defender's coming in, Sam Darnold can only put it there. There's not very many running backs that are going to make that play.
no, you're
That's
right.
it's not, I'm not calling that a drop by any means.
All right, all right.
But when you
Heat
look
of the
at between
moment,
the
you
two
know.
of them, you're sitting there at 76 yards in
Yep.
the passing game. That's great. Cooper Cup, Mr. Reliable. The catch he had, Sam Darnold doesn't throw the best ball, and Coop goes down, augments his body,
Oh my,
pushes forward.
yeah.
There's a lot of talk out there. Did he actually make the line to gain? It was very close, but I don't think that there's enough there to overturn it since it was already called a first down, and you can't move it inches probably to go to video review so they can check it.
No matter what, the Hawks are going for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Jake Bobo sits there and absolute in the touchdown, the yak that he got on the touchdown was awesome. Jake Bobo
they
getting open,
oh yeah,
getting great
yeah, yeah.
body position for his touchdown, just
Also,
shielding the defender.
the blocks Jake Bobo threw in this game,
Cooper Cup,
brother.
Cooper Cup too. Both of those guys
Oh,
were demons.
so much exciting whites on the field. Let's go.
And
Like it
I
is.
believe in AJ Barner's two catches. He both caught them within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage and just powered his way forward for extra
Yes,
yardage.
he did. That's just kind of the MO of this game. JSN was a yak monster. It seems like and Cooper, just the reliable hands, man.
Again, I could credit him with a drop in this game. I will.
Yes.
There was one where it's very catchable ball, um, and then Sheed on his other target, just a great play from the defender. Oh no, he had three targets because he had the one that they did not call a passing interference, where the guy just blasts through him, and
Yeah.
the
Hey,
argument
it's
was,
like the Saints game.
yeah, the argument was like, well, the ball's uncatchable. He's got his feet lined up
Hit
to
him in the
make a
helmet.
catch, and he gets pushed a little bit further, right where his hands would have been. The ball hits him in the helmet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was bad.
That was bad.
I will say I was a little frustrated that it felt like the Seahawks at home were getting hit a little bit harder on some things than the Rams were in the penalty game. I think the Rams only had one penalty, maybe two on the day, one late
They
that
had
helped
like
ice the game.
three late.
But Seahawks felt like on some of theirs, just like, what are we doing here? Like that's not much.
Yeah, I agree with one of the holding calls. The one
The one
like
on the punt,
yeah, yeah. Other than that, though, like they called it on Grace Abel, and I'm like, what?
they did call one on Bradford, which was pretty obvious on our old boy Poon
Yeah,
Ford.
yeah. They did call one on Zabel, and it's just like, where he do it at?
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
But what we can understand is this offense did what it needed to do to win the game. Sam
Yeah.
Darnold did what he needed to do. The wide receivers did a phenomenal job. JSN, he's been a little bit quiet the last couple of weeks. He really exploded in this game. The reliability, the rapport that he has with Sam Darnold was on full display. The tough and grittiness that we've grown accustomed to with Cooper Cup and this team, whether it was like his block on the JSN screen that went for about 13 yards was phenomenal. He's grinding out there, Bobo doing the same and getting his look and making the most of that opportunity. Rashid Shaheed, speed on speed, full on display. And then the running backs doing what they needed to do. And like I said,
Yeah.
AJ Barner, I expect him to have a little bit bigger role in the Super Bowl. I'm expecting him to have like 5 or 6 targets.
Yeah. So I think one reason that she kind of got shut down after that first big bomb is they just threw safety over him the rest of the game.
She also is on the field for I this is just going off of my take. He's on the field for less than 50% of the offensive plays.
Oh,
I saw
100%.
him out there more this week than I have in weeks past, but it still wasn't at a clip of what you expect a number two or number three wide receiver to be at.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
oftentimes where you're seeing Jake Bobo in there as an extra blocker, um, which he was on the field quite a bit. It was good to see him get involved. Um, but yeah, overall, offensively, I don't think against a team that gave you fits in the very first game, gave you fits for the first half of the second game. Ever since that second quarter on, the Seahawks offense has done everything and more than they needed to do to get the dubs against the Rams.
Yes, yes, they did.
And we'll hop over to the defense, which, like we said, the Rams have had their number for, I wouldn't really say in the first game, but second game and this game, the Rams have done the best job of exposing the Seahawks defense.
Yes.
And a lot of that is due to quick passes and
They also have the talent to do
they
it.
also have big time wide receivers that can make things happen. And Matt Stafford trusts him. He's a very accurate passer, and he was getting the ball out pretty quick most of that game. When you saw it late, is where he had issues when he had to get off his first, second read and had to go to third, fourth. And we'll talk about that here once we get past the stats side of it.
Yeah,
But
I think I have some pretty decent insight.
all right, let's just rattle down some guys. Ernst
Just some
Jones finished the
dudes.
game with 8 tackles, 6 of them were solo. Devin Witherspoon, 6 tackles, all of them solo, 2 passes defended. Drake Thomas had 6 tackles on the day. Nick Emanwari, 5 tackles, 4 solos, 3 passes defended.
And
Byron
two
Murphy,
tackle for losses. Yes, he did. I saw the stat.
okay, well, I think that your stat was wrong because when I was looking at stats per ESPN, the Seahawks had only
It
one TFL, and that was on the
the
sack by
Seahawks posted it.
Demarcus Lawrence, who had 2 tackles, 2 solo, TFL, and the sack. Byron Murphy, 5 tackles on the game. Reek Woolen, 2 tackles, 2 passes defended. Just because you see something on Twitter doesn't mean that it's true.
Pretty sure it was put out by the Seahawks.
Well, I'm going off ESPN that has him credited for 0 TFLs. So take that what you will. But the Seahawks defense did well at times, right?
They showed up in
The
spurts.
the third quarter was the Wild West for both teams. Defense optional in the third quarter for both teams. The Rams did some stuff in the second quarter that was pretty solid, but first quarter the Seahawks caused them to go 3-and-out, come down, score. Then the Rams offense gets going a little bit, but in the fourth quarter, the Seahawks survive a long drive and force a turnover on downs on 2 plays where Sam Darnold has to go to at least his third, or not Sam Darnold, Matt Stafford has to go to at least his third read. And Spoon is there, and Spoon, for his credit, got burned a few times in this game and
Tripped and
passed a bit.
fell.
But when you look at what he did late, he had both pass breakups in the end zone on what would have been the go ahead score. When that's what I say about the Seahawks team defensively. We're so used to, you know, the last month, them just being an absolute lockdown, right? But it's a team that has their number. They play each other quite a bit. There's good players on either side of the ball for both sides on this. But the Hawks defense in this game, particularly compared to last game, right? They stepped up when they needed to. They did in the fourth quarter to get that thing to overtime. Overtime, Rams go down and score pretty quickly. Seahawks match, get the 2 point conversion, which I think leads to where they're at today, going to the Super Bowl. Getting that game at home was key. But opportunistic and when you do it. You want to set the tone early. You get a 3-and-out. You need to survive late. The defense steps up when they need to, right?
Let's talk about Nicky Mawari for a second. I mean, this kid is an absolute freak, right? All of his past breakups, Puka twice, right? And Devontae Adams, two of the best in the game. And Nicky Mawari made it look like child's play.
Yeah.
Like That was insane. Him
I,
step for step with Puka was like when I saw him break on that out route and he just dives in front of Puka and gets the ball. I almost lost my mind because it's such an athletic play for him to make, and it looked like he almost got burned for a second, and then he kicked it into high gear. Like Nicky Mawari is such a special player, man. I
yeah,
can't believe what we're watching from him in year one.
I wish that he would have been healthy the whole year because then I think that he would be a lock for defensive rookie of the year.
Might
I
now
well, the thing is that you don't take in
I
all
know
the
you
voting is
don't.
done at the end of the regular season, but the multiplicity that he allows them to play with, and it allows the Seahawks to put more defensive backs on the field because both he and Spoon can do damage in the run game and get after the quarterback as well with some pressure from the secondary. It allows you to go with a lighter box and still not allow a 100-yard rusher for, I think we're at 23 consecutive
28.
games.
I believe they said there was 27 at the beginning of the game, and
We're
I
at
believe it's
28
28.
now.
Yeah.
But Ernest Jones and his ability on a handful of tackles to stop the guy with a full head of steam and just turn him backwards. You saw Byron Murphy do the same thing in this game.
Byron
You
Murphy
saw
was a
Spoon coming
beast.
up and laying some hat. I mean, Reek's throwing it around there. We'll get to the part about Reek here in a bit, but this defense flies and they make plays. It's what they
Yes.
do.
Yes. Before we get to that, could we talk special teams for a moment?
Nope, we're gonna go over to offensive player of the game.
Because I think we should talk about special teams with
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we
like
will when we talk about it
eh,
later. We're in the offensive player of the game section of the podcast. Kane,
okay.
who is your offensive player of the game?
If Sam Darnold, man. I mean, JSN was transcendent, but Sam Darnold was with the oblique injury, right? Like was damn near perfect all day. I don't think he threw a danger ball. As we said, he got rid of the
Uh,
ball. He might have threw
he
one.
threw two danger balls. There was one where Cooper Cup played DB and broke that thing up. It was a ball to it was not a good ball.
All
Not a
right.
good ball. But I
Just
think he
played
had
well
two on
within
the day.
himself. 3 touchdowns on the day. Broke all the narratives about him. I got to give it to Sam Darnold this week, and he backed it up, man.
He transported back to 1973 and was on the set of The Exorcist because he exorcised some demons.
Yeah, so give me Ginger Jesus this week. Coach Red, we got.
JSN.
Yeah.
I I know my pick going into the week was Cooper Cup, and if JSN didn't have as many, how the hell did he do that? Slash highlight plays, I was still going to give it to Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup in the revenge game scores a touchdown. His ability to block on the perimeter, the body contortion he made to then go get the first down when you needed it. Cooper Cup had a great game, but JSN was otherworldly in this game. He catches a deep bomb by running a phenomenal route. His yak in this game was crazy.
Mhm.
He caught a couple of intermediate balls. He caught things at the line of scrimmage. He came out of the backfield for that touchdown that left him wide open. What he's able to do, how he is able to get so open when teams obviously know where he is on every single play.
Mhm.
It's you saw two of the NFC's best wide receivers this year on full display and what their talents allow their teams to do offensively. Both were on
Mhm.
display in this game between him and Puka Nakua. But JSN did more damage with the balls that were thrown his way in this game than Puka did.
Yes,
And I
I
think
agree.
that was a part of this game where I think JSN might have had one ball broken up around him, and
Puka had,
you had a few with Puka.
yeah,
And
that's
there was a play where JSN defenders coming through him. It's not as violent as the one that she got, where the guy's hitting him right there at the time. He's just getting possession. The guy has perfect hand placement. This one, a little bit more body. JSN, the guy's coming through him. JSN feels pressure and moves ball to sideline hand in one motion while getting taken to the ground on a ball that most guys aren't catching.
yeah.
I mean,
I just
the one-handed grab was phenomenal. You saw him get deep. You saw the scheme to get him open with Kubiak coming out of the backfield. JSN was phenomenal in this game, and he has the catch late to extend the drive, almost gets a knee down in bounds to keep the clock rolling.
dude,
That
I
would
thought he
have really
did.
iced the game.
I thought he
Foot went out
did.
before shin hit the ground. So, uh,
Ah,
but JSN does all the little things that you want to see out of a wide receiver. And we didn't know that it was going to be to this extent this year, but their ability to get him open at multiple levels and not just have him like he was in year one being a screen merchant, it was on full display. And
yes.
JSN showed up and showed out in the NFC Championship game.
It's like one of the most fun games I've watched in a while.
All right, who do you got for your defensive player of the game?
Give me the rookie. Nicky Mawari was absolutely phenomenal. He looks like a seasoned vet out there, man. Like three pass breakups on two of the game's best. One's a hands down first ballot Hall of Famer.
It's a little bit different with the NFL. You don't get as many first ballot guys. I think that Devontae Adams is a Hall of Famer. I don't know
Uh,
if he's going to be first ballot.
Okay, okay. But yes, he is going to be a Hall of Famer. And Puka is just unreal, right? And for Nick to just have such a nose for the ball in those situations, the amount of pass breakups he's had this year is insane. I think I sent you a stat on X or Twitter, what you call it, earlier today, with his stats on the year. And it's just so insane on what he's done up to this point and what he did to the Rams, especially. It's got to be Nicky Moore this week. Coach Red, who do you got?
I'm going to throw an audible mention to Ernest Jones.
Yeah.
Revenge game, a team that he felt like he was abruptly cast away from. Same thing with Cooper, right? I thought Cooper had a good game. Felt like he was unjustly cast away before his time. Ernest Jones looked mean as hell this entire game. He, the force that he was exerting on the
Dude,
opposition
he hit
was
Kyron Williams
phenomenal.
hard and
He
proceeded
turned
to,
him and just drove him backwards. And it wasn't
yeah,
just like straight up. It's like, you have the angle. You should be able to run through this. And he stops him dead in his track and legitimately turns his full momentum the other way. What
yeah,
Ernest Jones did shows you the type of player that Mike McDonald knew he needed to be the captain of this defense, to be that
mhm,
guy in the middle, to bring the thunder, to bring the nuance to the linebacker game. Phenomenal. He's my honorable mention. Give me Spoon. And the reason I'm
yeah,
picking Spoon because there were points in time where, yes, he did fall down in coverage, but it's because Devontae Adams shook him out of his boots, right? It
yes,
wasn't just Spoon slipped, right? It was a couple other times. Good contested catches made by Puka with him. I think that Parkinson had one as well with
mhm,
him right there. But when the game is on the line and you have one man that has no pass breakups to that point in the game, and you are in winning time, your defense needs to close the door to win this game. You are targeted two times and you break up the first one. phenomenally. And the second one, you're in position to make the interception. You ran the
Yeah.
route better than he did. Like
I don't know what Matthew Stafford was thinking in that play.
he had to get rid of the ball.
This is what irritated me. I was watching Hawks bloggers post game show last night, and a super chat came through
Big
on
shout
the
out to Hawksblogger.
yeah, um, and it was a thing that Sean McVay said in his presser, and it was on that play the Seahawks got lucky on a fortuitous
Fortuitous.
busted coverage play because they had two dudes roll off with Kyron and or something, and it's just like, dude, just enough with the excuses. Bad ball, as you said. Matthew Stafford late had a lot of bad balls. It was not pretty, I
The
would
Seahawks were
say.
able to get a sack in this game. Granted,
Marcus Lawrence,
it was helped out by a little bit of a face mask, but I digress. But they were able to make Matthew Stafford more uncomfortable in the pocket than they were in the last two games combined
yes,
because
agreed.
they had not gotten a sack on Stafford to that point in the season until this game. One of my buddies texted me. He's like, "Dude, they need to sack Stafford," and I was like, "They already have more in the first quarter or second quarter than they've had all year. I mean, I don't know what else you want from them,
I mean, their offensive line is really good.
but they did have three quarterback hits, and I think that ESPN doesn't count hurries, but it was definitely one of
It's
the games
more,
that against us that Matt Stafford was his most uncomfortable was in this game.
yeah. There's a lot of balls that it seemed like he had to force and stuff, and just a little bit off kilter. So you could see like they got his hand pretty good at one point. So that could have affected something, but it just seemed like you said, he was uncomfortable all game.
And why I pick Spoon, and I'm gonna quote Santana Moss from his time at the University of Miami at the U. In big time moments, big time players make big time plays. And
Yeah,
Devin Witherspoon, like we said, I said this earlier, right before the playoffs started. He was my pick to be the X factor for this playoff run for the defense because he had not made that highlight play.
yeah,
Back to back stops in the end zone when your team needs to keep him out of the end zone. Pretty close, especially after you had probably one of his shakier games of the year.
yeah. It's just it's crazy that you have Spoon and Imanwari basically the same type of player. Like,
One's just
eh,
bigger.
what's a lot bigger. Let's just be real. But I mean, both of them played phenomenal for the most part.
All right, Kane, because you asked for it. Kane, who is your special teams player of the
Uh,
week?
Derek Young. Oh my goodness, man. I I don't understand kinda their returner. I guess like Derek Young's a big man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've come to know this.
His ability to get around the gunner defender in
Yeah.
punt is second to none. He was in position when he muffed the first one. He just ran past it, not knowing if he's going to let it go over his head. He's right there to be able to make play. It's fortuitous.
Also,
Fortuitous. We're going to use it again. A fortuitous bounce for the Rams, where it goes
yeah.
right to him. And then the guy tripping over himself, and he's just right there to scoop it up.
It's is it like that he's just so big and coming so quick that it's like, oh crap.
I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think with the Rams returner, he was a little shaky after the first one, right? Has the muff. At that point, Derek Young's already passed him. You're not worried about getting blasted when you call a fair catch early anymore in the NFL. Because if you do that, unless it's someone getting blocked into you, that person is not playing in the rest of the game, right? So you
Yeah.
don't really have to look, and that's a big penalty. That's 15-yarder.
Yeah.
So I do think that he was a little shook. It was a big stage for a young kid, and they end up moving Kyron Williams back there after the fact, but
They're doing a
Tariq
lot
Young and his
still.
ability to stay in bounds, to win at the line of scrimmage, to get downfield, he's invaluable in the punt game for sure.
Also, Mike Morris is an animal on special teams.
The new
My
kickoff,
goodness.
the new kickoff style has he's a perfect player for that. You don't have to have him
Oh
run
my.
50 yards. He's just got to beat one guy, and he is pretty good at doing that.
Yeah, it's him and Santa Clara out there. I didn't really see him on the defensive side
Yep.
much, which kind of wish you would see a little bit of Ty Okada out there for how well he's played all year.
I mean,
But
Julian Love just missed my list of stats, and then
no, he
Kobe
was
Bryant's back.
yeah, I know. I'm getting greedy at this point, all right?
Are you going to ask me who my special teams player
Oh,
of the week is?
who's your special teams player of the week?
My special teams player of the week is Michael Dixon. Michael Dixon punted the ball 5 times. He averaged 45.2 yards per punt. All punts were down or fair caught within the 20-yard line.
Yeah, it was insane.
Uh,
That was absolutely insane.
Michael Dixon is a gangster, dude. That's what he is. Like, he hasn't been on the field as much this year as he has in years past because the offense is, for the most part,
So
found a way
good.
to keep things
Yeah.
going. But when they're backed up, does a great job of being able to flip the field with his hang time. And I also want to contribute probably some of the mistakes to the Rams returner is Michael Dixon does not kick a traditional style punt. So
No.
there could have been a little bit of that was involved too. But to continuously pin them in flip field position, it greatly helped the Seahawks win this game.
Hmm.
So
Also,
it's Michael Dixon for me.
did we ever talk about that hype video
No,
that they put out? Dude, that thing was
I didn't see it.
sick. You'd see it. It was so
Why don't you explain it in great detail?
I'm not gonna do that, but it's basically Mike's first meeting with the team in 2024, right? With when he's introduced as the head coach and it's first time meeting the players. And he's like, all right, picture this NFC championship, home field advantage, 30 something degrees, windy. They're not built for it. We are pretty much. And just this whole hype video thing that like they played at the beginning of the game too, before all the stuff happened and got the crowd hype. Also, super awesome that Jody raised the flag. I think that was really cool. It needed to happen
They
since
always
Paul
have the
Allen
chair. They
did.
also have the chair raise the flag for every NFC championship game at home.
Yeah, yeah, that was super cool. And she had old Legion of Boom, Matt Hasselback up there with her. Just super great energy for this team to thrive off of. So
I do want to highlight Mike McDonald. I'm going to paraphrase, a little bit of the on-field post game. I didn't get to see it live, but I did see it today. And Simply Seattle has already put out a shirt about this, and we were talking to him about how fulfilling was it that you were overlooked for the Rams and the Niners, and you were able to get past both of them. How did it feel, you know, before the season getting put below them? And just matter of the fact with pauses, we did not care.
yeah.
He said it. It was echoed by Ernest Jones after the Rams loss about their quarterback, Sam Darnold, is there was no real diva mentality with this team. It was all about team first. You had reading some things today. Ernest Jones is on this team. Cooper Kupp's deciding where he wants to play. And Ernest Jones says, we're on the cusp of making a Super Bowl to Cooper Cup. He
Hmm.
resends him that text last night or today. It says, see, you had DeMarcus Lawrence. He is a Texas guy through and through. Played the Cowboys his whole career. He says, I will not be able to play for a Super Bowl. And he pinpointed Seattle as a place where he could get that done and what he's been able to do. You look at the role players throughout this team, especially with your veteran presence, and they're more than role players, but Jaron Reed,
Yep.
Big Cat Leonard Williams, Ernest Jones. Throw Charles Cross in the mix now. He's on a second contract. He's got that second one. Throw him in there. Cooper Cup, Sam Darnold, and what he's been able to bring to the table, playing for his, fifth team in 7 years, right? A guy
Yep.
that was cast off. Rashid Shaheed and what he brings to the table. Just so many guys throughout this locker room. Julian Love,
Yep.
the guy you look at a lot of these teams and you can sit there and say, all right, the Niners had all these strings of injuries. These guys had this, these guys had that. At points in time, the Seahawks defense was decimated with injuries. They stayed relatively healthy on the offensive side of the ball, but
Yep.
the perseverance and the we not me mentality that you could see with this team, you know, no one was entitled to playing time. You look, we thought Tyree Snipe was going to be the true starter. He comes in a little banged up. Drake Thomas comes in, plays well. Ernest Jones goes out for a game. What's Tyree Snipe do? Gets two sack fumbles.
Yeah. That's right. That was that
We not
game,
me.
huh?
Reek does not win the job coming out of camp. Reek, when he gets the opportunity, when Josh Jobs is out, gets to move Spoon back to the Joker going inside and out because Reek's playing so well. We'll
Yeah.
get to Reek's a little bit here in a
You
bit,
had
but
Mickey Manwari missing games and how their defense played without him. That was going to be an integral part of the defense, right?
Kenneth Walker could be chirping all year that he gets you down to the red zone and then you bring in Sharp to vulture the touchdowns. You could have heard that. You could have heard Cooper Cup, former Triple Crown winner, right? This guy is a Super Bowl MVP. At one point was the best wide receiver in the NFL. His mentality, I think, helped shape the offense quite a bit and really helped
Hmm.
mature JSN to the point that he's at right now because Cooper Cup goes out there and puts in the work. Sam Darnold, the amount of respect that your defensive captain in Sam Darnold's worst game, where you don't just sit there and say, it's a bad game, it's this and that. He says F you to the
Yeah.
media multiple times. It just shows you how tight of a unit this whole team is.
It's been super special to see the brotherhood that they all have. It and you see it at every press conference, right? Like JSN, it's like, nah, it's not about me. It's not about me, it's about them. It's about us. It's about everybody here.
Sam Darnold does that. Ernest Jones does that. Everybody does it. And in today's NFL, and when you look at how the college game has changed, where it's NIL, it's your name, it's your brand, you can go wherever you want to go. In the NFL, you still have those guys that are like, let me rack up my stuff. Obviously, everyone wants to go win a Super Bowl, but you know what else they want? Their stats to be heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that anyone on
Love you,
this
bud.
team just really sat down and said, Kai, I got to get this. Like I'm gonna miss my assignment to go try and get another sack to pad that stat. You're not seeing Sam Darnold going, okay, I I get a kicker at this level. I better throw a couple more bombs this game, even if they're in harm's way.
Mhm.
No stretch, you didn't see that at all.
Oh, this was a team effort, and every facet did what they needed to do.
And we danced around it this entire episode um, with Reek. And
Yeah.
Reek makes a boneheaded play. He makes a phenomenal stop on third down. Seahawks are poised to get the ball back. He's jawing at the sideline, gets 15-yard taunting penalty. The very next play, he goes and gets burned. You're seeing the guys chirpy on the sideline. Afterwards, you're sitting there and you hear what comes out of what happened on the sideline. It as negative, wasn't as negative as the announcers made it out to be. And Reek sits there in his locker and answers questions by anybody that wants to ask him. He knew that he made a mistake. And the big thing that he said, he goes, this game is so high intensity. It is so much this. He goes, I blacked out. I don't even remember what I did after I made
Yeah.
that pass breakup.
Yeah. And, the referee report comes out after saying he let him go for 10 yards. And then, like he said,
I don't think Reek hurt him. Let's be real.
no,
I don't. I
no.
think with the crowd going crazy, he's feeling on cloud nine, breaking up a pass to Puka Nakua to keep their drive going, to sit there and put the Seahawks getting the ball back up 2 scores. You're feeling
but
nice.
when the referee goes, hey, 3 times, and then you go 15 more yards chirping at Devontae Adams, that also didn't help his case, right? Is you got Devontae Adams and Matthew Stafford both pointing fingers at him. Doesn't help your case. And it was just a boneheaded thing. But then he comes out afterward on Twitter and he's like, no more taunting penalties.
Yeah, I'm good with the taunting. And Red reports, he sat there, he took every question that was asked of him. He came out and, did not skirt around it online. His online presence, he took it full force. There is a very real chance that could have been a turning point. That was almost like Bizzardo giving up the homer to George Springer, right? It had that feel to it. Like if the game's going to change and it's not coming back, that 2-play string of feeling elation to feeling defeated could have been the turning point of the game. It did not end up
they
being the turning
win.
point of the game.
They win. It's a hey, and the guys held him accountable, but do as Mike always says is you hold yourself accountable, and then we'll pick you back up. Right? It's nothing
and it
but
looked like they
love.
were yelling and fighting on the sideline. Eman Warrior's in there, and Eman Warrior's like, dude, you got to keep your head. And he's like, I know. You don't even tell me again. I got it. And it's guys that are out there not fighting with each other, but sitting there trying to build each other up. Emotions are high. You're
It's mission
playing
over
for the
BS.
chance to go to the Super Bowl. You're playing a division rival. You're playing a team that you have played tough all year. You're playing a team that has had your number for a while. Like Reek's been there when they were getting blown out by the Rams.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But they came together. They did what they needed to do the entire fourth quarter to keep the Rams out of the end zone and propel them to go play in a rematch versus the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm still on cloud nine, dude. I can't believe that this has been the greatest sports year of my life.
This is their to have the Mariners a couple outs from making their first ever World Series to in that same season time have the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl.
You
You
also
have
have
the Sounders go deep into the playoffs. You've got the Kraken that look like they should be able to make the playoffs again, right? I was talking to a buddy. He's like, "What are they going to do later this year? Now now Sonics are coming back."
that's
That's
probably
like
not
that
coming
would
for a
just be the
while, but
cherry on top. But to see a guy, which I read a report today, like Mike McDonald, they took a flyer on a guy that wasn't a household name. In that coaching cycle, Mike McDonald was one of the hottest names in the defensive head
yes,
coaching cycle, and they had to wait him out. Ravens were in the playoffs. Seahawks did not fire Pete Carroll until 2 days after the season, so they missed the window to be able to interview him during the bye because the Ravens were the 1 seed. So they had to wait it out. They took a chance on a guy that comes from a great tree. As much as we might want to harp on the Harbaughs, especially uh, our
so
good friend
Jim.
Jim, right? In the hostility that we've had with him for his time at the Niners, right? Mike McDonald gets buy-in from the players 100%.
Oh yeah.
He's a different type of players coach than Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was competition, competition, competition. Go be yourself. You had so many personalities. You don't see the personalities as much with this Mike McDonald team, but he puts every one of his players, I feel like, in a position to succeed as themselves. He doesn't try to take a player of Eman Wari's capability and say, you're a box safety that's only going to guard the tight end in heavy packages, where that could be what you see a lot of defensive guys do,
Right.
right? It it's not that he's changing up the playbook. He still got his core. He still has what he likes to do, but he's putting guys in a position to succeed based off of their skill sets.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And it's just there's something about Mike McDonald that for me personally, like whenever I hear him give a speech or whatever to the team or whatnot, not so much during his pressers because he's pretty short and to the answers on those. But when he's given the room to the guys, right, it makes you want to run through a wall, man. Like he's such a guy that you just want to go to bat for, right? Because he cares so much about this team.
And
And
he's exceeded expectations the last 2 years that were put on him. I mean, this is exceeding my expectations, and I'm a diehard Seahawks guy. I did not anticipate them, especially with the question marks of can JSN going into the season, can JSN be a number one receiver? What's the real Sam Darnold? Was it Sam Darnold during the regular season, or was it Sam Darnold the last 2 games of the season for the Vikings? Is your offensive line going to come together to play at a high enough level? Can you have complementary pieces? One point, yet MVS was supposed to be our speed burner and didn't make it out of camp, right?
right,
There's question marks. Our defense is going to be fine, and they were going to be in a spot to be competing for a playoff spot. Did I
yeah,
anticipate number one seed? I did not at the start of the season. I expected them to be potentially a 5 seed, maybe a 6 seed in the playoffs and can be dangerous because they do have weapons on both sides of the ball. But what Mike McDonald's been able to do and get the pieces he needs to implement that dark side defense that he's put
mhm,
out there, it it's not as turnover heavy as his Ravens team was, because I think that team was unreal with their opportunistic and getting the turnovers. But to get pressure for the majority of the season on what they were able to do with only bringing 4 guys to having multiple guys eclipse the 5 sack mark, he puts guys in positions to make plays. That's what he
yes,
does.
yes. Maybe he is one of the best in the game right now to do it. Honestly, should be coach of the year, but
Well, he's gonna have to hop on over to X to fight me for coach of the year. I'll be
that's
your boy, Coach Red. You can find me
good.
on X at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red, TikTok at the real Coach Red. Also find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and leave a comment or two. Kane, where you at?
Find me over on Twitter, K2406, TikTok, Kid0624. Also follow the show's socials over on Twitter, Instagram at Coach Red Pod. False, false, false. Do it, freaking do it.
And as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.